Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to be speaking about my journey to getting diagnosed as autistic and as having ADHD. My journey started with getting the ball rolling when I was 19. I was 19 when I first went to the doctor about kind of not being normal. That's how I initially kind of went to the doctor. I was like, I'm not normal. I'm not like my peers. There's just something wrong with me. And I didn't know where to start, who to tell, or what to do. So this video is for you guys who are in the same kind of position I was and like, just feeling like no one understands and you just feel like, where do I go now? Like, what is next? How can I get help? This video is for you. For me, I spoke to my mum first. That was my first step. And not everyone is lucky enough to have someone in their life that they can trust and they can talk to. So if you don't, bypass this bit and just go on to step 2. Step 1, I would say definitely reach out to someone you trust and ask them for a little bit of advice or a little bit of like comfort, a little bit of just an ear, like just someone to talk to. Sometimes it's good just to speak to someone. It's always good to have someone on your side that can kind of be like, she has spoken to me about this before and, you know, this is how I feel. It's always good to have someone on your side. It's always good to have someone to speak to. So if you can, definitely reach out to someone you can trust, because it's always good to speak to someone beforehand so you know kind of where it all started, where it all begun, and like where the problems lie. It's always good to have a clear path in your head so that when you go to the doctor, they don't send you away to do some like history research on where it began, did it last this long, blah blah blah. Try and have it all together anyway before you even start going to the doctor. Try to have it there, present in your head. Or my next step could be for you if you're not great at remembering things. So I booked a doctor's appointment personally for me. I reached out and I said, I don't feel normal. There's something not quite right with me. This is exact my words. And I said, I just want to speak to someone because I feel like there's something not quite right mentally with me. And that's how I put it, because I didn't know how else to describe how I was feeling. I explained in where I'm from, you have to do an e-consult, which is you have to email them, tell them what's wrong, and then they can get the appropriate doctor to give you a phone call or an appointment. This was pre-COVID, so there wasn't a lot of precautions, so I was given an appointment quite easily. So I then thought to myself, I need to be prepared. I need to go into this doctor's appointment with everything. I need to tell them everything. And that was my mindset, all or nothing. I need to tell them everything. And I knew I couldn't remember it all in my head. That was not something I could do. So I went and brought a notebook. This notebook has everything I wanted to say in it. I spent a lot of time writing in this notebook. Like, it is full. I say full, like it's not full. Let me just get, right, here. It's got quite a lot of stuff in it that I wanted to say to the doctor. And I knew that if I didn't write it down, I wouldn't remember it. So I took this specific book to the doctor and I said, right, I don't know if you want to read it or I'm going to read it out to you, but I need to get everything in here across because this is how I'm feeling. I was extremely lucky that the doctor I was given, my GP, was very understanding, and she obviously was a mental health kind of specialist. She definitely had the attributes of a doctor who definitely listened. She acknowledged, spoke to me, and also she just listened, which was so, like, it done me the world of good to be able to get it all out and across and not feel like I'm a burden, like this person is getting bored, like clock watching, like, oh, she nearly done yet, oh my god, she's still going on. This doctor wasn't like that. She definitely listened to me, and I feel like that was I needed that. I needed a doctor who was going to take the time to listen, and she wasn't like, you have 10 minutes for an appointment, so get going. She wasn't like that. She literally like listened, and then when I was done speaking, she offered me some advice. She offered me what she could do. She gave me some options, and the doctor was like, right, she photographed this book. She photographed all the pages for evidence, and she then said, I strongly think as a professional there's more than just anxiety, which I had previously been diagnosed with like 5-6 times beforehand when I kept telling them I didn't feel good, there wasn't this, was a blah blah blah. you know, the doctors did, but this specific doctor really listened, and she was like, I feel like there's more to this. And she said, I strongly believe it's ADHD or autism. And I was like, ADHD? Like, me? Like, you think that's like I was one of these people that just thought it's for naughty boys. I didn't really have an understanding of what ADHD was until she had said it and explained to me that you don't have to be hyperactive. There's not, you know, it's not as simple as this stereotype makes it out to be. She definitely taught me what it was just in a 5-second kind of like chat we had. It was literally like, I think you've got it. There's no doubt about it. She said, I can't diagnose you myself. You need to see a specialist, but I'm going to put you on the waiting list and tell them it's an urgent referral. She said, because I can see how hard it's been for you, but also your family. She said, I really feel like we need help. There's not much the GPs here can do with ADHD without there being a diagnosis in place. So she said, leave it with me. I'm going to put forward a referral, and she did. So 2.5 years went by. 2.5? Yeah, 2.5 years kind of went by, and I still was on this waiting list. I was now 21 and I still was on this waiting list. I was still struggling back and forth to the doctor, like, I really need help, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you're on the waiting list. There's not much we can do. You're on the waiting list, blah, 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 blah. And in the end, I was just like, right, it's either I get help or something seriously is going to happen to me, because I can't cope anymore. Like, I cannot cope living the life I'm living without help. I just can't do it anymore. They then said, well, there is another option. And I was like, I'm listening. What's the other option? They then said to me, we can refer you to a private ADHD clinic in Southampton. And I was like, private? Like, that's going to cost loads. And she was like, yeah, it's going to cost a little bit, but, you know, I don't know how long you're going to be on this waiting list for. So there and then I was like, okay, I'll take the number and just see what happens. I'll get my dad to ring up, because I don't do no talking on the phone. So my dad rang up and was like, how much is it going to be? When can you do it? Blah, 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 blah. It was over £1,000, and I was like, how the hell am I going to do that? Luckily, I'd been saving a little bit, and I could, I could dabble some money. I could get it paid. So I was like, definitely, okay, just do it. When's the nearest one? And they were like, oh, in 2 weeks' time. I was like, 2 weeks' time? 2 weeks' time? 2 weeks' time? Jump forward 2 weeks. I then went to see this specific doctor who was an ADHD psychiatrist, like specialist. She knew what she was on about, diagnosed me on the same day, and was like, right, here's some options: therapy, cognitive therapy, medication, blah, 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 blah. And I decided to go down the medication route because, well, I tried therapy, tried counselling, and nothing was working for me specifically. And I was like, the only thing I haven't tried is ADHD specific medication. I'd been on antidepressants, sertraline. Yes, they helped my anxiety, but they didn't do anything else for the impulsiveness, the mood swings, and all of that malarkey. It didn't do much. So I decided medication was the route I was going to go down. Didn't want to, because I was absolutely petrified of trying medication. I'm one of those people that will not take paracetamol unless I really, really have to. But yeah, this doctor was absolutely amazing, and she told me, you know, yes, you have ADHD quite severely. I do not know how you've gone 21 years without being picked up. Then my mum and dad were asked to come into the room. They gave their side. I was asked to leave. There was, you know, chatting about everything that had happened before now, like previously, how it's been at home, how I was as a youngster. I had my school reports as I was asked to get them before the appointment. I was also asked to do questionnaires, so they were going through that, speaking about my school reports. And this doctor was just like absolutely like astounded how I did not get diagnosed sooner, because she said my school reports absolutely screamed ADHD. She just said, like, I don't know how it's so obvious, but it was ignored and totally missed for so long, which was my argument too. Like, I was always kicked out, you know, excluded, sent out of lesson, pupil referral unit, you know. The teachers were always telling me, you know, just do this, it's not that hard, just do this, sit down, blah, 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 you know. It's always these little things, and I knew personally that they weren't normal. Like, I wasn't like the other kids in my class. Like, I just wasn't. So if I could see it, why could not every other teacher see it too, who was sending me out, telling me that I wasn't trying hard enough, that I was doing things deliberately, blah, 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 blah. If I could see it and these teachers were saying it, why did they not reach out for help? I don't understand. But anyway, yeah, I was diagnosed with ADHD at 21. Absolutely life-changing for me personally. The diagnosis itself was absolutely life-changing. I felt really kind of lifted up when I heard that. I know it sounds really funny to say, I don't know if that's the right word to say, but I felt like someone had taken 21 years worth of trauma, heartbreak, heartache, arguments, crying, heartbroken, all of this stuff off my shoulders. Just with, yes, you have ADHD quite severely. We need to now think of a plan, a treatment plan forward. Like, how can we make this more livable? How can you live with this disorder that you have? And I was like, well, I don't know, I've lived with it 21 years, I need something because something's not working.